this is Matthew Terrell. I'm a fourth-year professional writing student here at Savannah College of Art and Design, and I'm here with Mr. David Benioff. He won the Outstanding Achievement Award this year at Savannah College of Art and Design, Savannah Film Festival. How are you, Mr. Benioff?
I'm really good. Thank you for having me.
Did you always want to be a screenwriter, or did you want to be a novelist?
No, I started off as a novelist and never had any intention of writing screenplays. And in fact, I'm a bit of a hypocrite because I used to make fun of screenwriters and say, why would anyone want to write?
Well, how'd you end up in screenwriting then?
Well, I wrote a novel, and it was optioned, and they hired me to write the adaptation. Because what happened was, once they optioned the novel, I didn't, it was a very New York City book, and that's where I grew up. And I had this fear that they were going to hire some guy from Malibu who'd only been to New York for a couple of weeks on vacation. He was going to write the screenplay and just ruin it, and I wanted to protect it. So I campaigned for the job, and I'd never written before, so I wasn't in the Writers Guild yet, and I was very cheap, and they gave me the job, weirdly enough.
And so, what do you feel about screenwriting now, that you're doing it as a career?
Now that I've done it, I love it. I mean, I'm glad that I'm doing both because I'm still working in fiction, and writing a novel has its own rewards because you're not responding to studio notes. You don't have to worry about actors' complaints or producers or budgeting or any of that. You're completely your own boss, and I love that. But at the same time, I love screenwriting. I love the collaborative aspect of making movies, and particularly with a movie like The Kite Runner, it was incredible good fortune to be working with so many talented people, from the director, Mark Forster, to the cast, to the producers, to the production designers, director of photography, editor. Everyone did their jobs.
What was it like doing the adaptation for Kite Runner? Did you work a lot with Mr. Hosseini?
Yeah, well, I met with him several times, and then he was just a wonderful ally on the movie. And this is sometimes a very perilous relationship between the screenwriter and the novelist whom you're adapting, because the Kite Runner is his baby, and it was his first book, and it's the book that changed his life, right? I mean, he was working as a doctor, but was essentially unknown before this book, and now he's famous throughout the world, and it's become a phenomenon. So, rightly so, I think Khaled is very protective about the story, and I believe, I like to believe that after we met a few times and we talked about the book, and the more we talked about, the more trust he had in me, and faith that I was going to endeavor as much as humanly possible to create a faithful adaptation.
So what's it like to finally see something you wrote up on the big screen?
It sometimes is painful, because sometimes
Really?
it's, oh yeah, I mean, sometimes you see a movie that you've written and you imagined it in a certain way, and you imagine scenes being played in a certain way, and actors delivering lines a certain way, and it's completely different, and it feels like you've just been kicked in the stomach. I mean, in this case, it was wonderful. I loved this movie from the first time I saw it, and this has been an amazing experience. Thank you to the Savannah Film Festival and to everyone at SCAD and Bobby Zarum and everyone else who invited me down here, and more importantly, invited the movie down here. And I accept this award not for myself, although I will keep it, but for the movie. All movies are collaborations. This one in particular has been a truly global collaboration. It's, of course, based on a beloved novel by an Afghan-American, directed by a Swiss-German. The actors come from Afghanistan, Iran, England, France, America, Germany, etc. The producers were Australian and American. Our composer was Spanish, the production designer Argentinian. The crew were Chinese and Uyghurs. At all times, the movie was being made by Muslims, Christians, Jews, and even Chinese communists. And not trying to read too much into that or look for too much of a message, but it does make me very happy.